too long because of this, autoimmune thing that I have called ankylosing spondylitis and my Crohn's disease. But we get through, don't we? Whatever doesn't kill us makes us stronger. That being said, it seems like there are a lot of things that are heading our way that may indeed make you worry about our future. One of the things just happened earlier today. I was going to go in one direction with this video, and I found out some really shocking information that I'm going to share with you later. It's kind of groundbreaking, so I hope you stick around for it. But the big news right now is Iran and the U.S. The U.S. just fired a warning shot. I mean, that's not normal. Their Coast Guard has been circling. Yesterday they intercepted one of our destroyers in the Persian Gulf. We just fired a warning shot, and that's big provocation there. And there's provocation going on everywhere, and it has been for quite some time. About a year ago, I did something that was very uncharacteristic of me. I did a video I called A Warning. You can check it out. It was back in July, and I had said that we were about to enter pretty much the darkest time that we have ever had before, and I said that we were going to see catastrophic flooding and earthquakes and terrorism and war, and pretty much that's all happened within the last year. And I shared a sentiment with all of you on my last video about how I feel like this change is coming, and I can't really put my finger on it, but things like the Mandela effect and Nibiru and all of these things are really kind of tying in together, strangely enough, to a point where you have to wonder, why is it that we aren't having these issues addressed? So today, we're going to address some of them, but we're going to really talk about what's going on around the world. And man, some news just came out, and it's trickling on up. Governments around the world are issuing warnings. Now, we heard about Germany. Saying stockpile of food, but you haven't heard about this one, and it's frightening. But I think that there's a silver lining in here, because I think that if enough of us get together, things can change, and I have faith that they will, even though a recent study said that most people don't have faith today, that more people don't believe in God than ever before. Sign of the times. Today, we're going to talk about a lot. I hope you enjoy the show. So, big news. You heard about Germany stockpiling the food, the 10-day supply. They said water, food. I mean, this is stuff that all of you should do anyway. Not to fearmonger, because it's not about fearmonger. It's not about, but there's nothing wrong with being prepared. Even here in Long Island, when we had this, this snowpocalypse, and we were just like cut off, and you couldn't even get a loaf of bread, and we went a couple of weeks without power. And if you don't have food for a couple of weeks, things can get a little shady. So it's a good thing to be prepared. Now, if you don't have a couple of weeks worth of food, you should do it. Go get it. This doesn't take much. Pick up some stuff at the local store. Pick it up before the government tells you to pick it up, and then everybody panics. So just now, we found out that it's not just Germany warning people about a pending catastrophe or war or terrorism. They really weren't clear as to why they were saying get ready, but the Czech Republic just did. I mean, they just did too, and they're not the only ones. Governments around the world are telling its citizens, get prepared, set yourself up, because they know that things are going to get real spooky in the coming days. It seems like every government right now is preparing for war. World War III has already kind of been going on, if you're going to go by the UN's definition of 5 nations at war. It's been going on since last September. Every government, though, I mean, we're talking everyone, seems to be ready to go. They got their finger on the trigger, literally. US and South Korea just started some huge military drills, right? Even though China and North Korea said, you better not. You better not. You think you might want to listen, you know? You don't really want to provoke these crazy people that are at the helm. Not saying that the people that are at the helm over here aren't crazy. If you've seen some of my earlier videos, you know that the things that they put their faith in is really ridiculous. And just downright spooky and perverse. North Korea just successfully tested a missile. Cheering! Yes, we can now blow up the United States. So we're bragging about the fact that they can reach out and touch us here in the States, and that's not really a good thing, because you know that the man running the show over there, he ain't too keen on human rights. They've not only successfully tested this missile, but they also leveled a pretty large threat against us and against South Korea. But what else is new, right? So this is kind of what is spooky, though, is China is holding a major confrontation drill, and they're doing it in the Sea of Japan. That's right, Japan and China, they're at odds too. And it looks like war may happen there as well. Not to mention, Russia has also teamed up with China in the South China Sea. Yeah, that's right. Russian ships are now entering as well. Like a little partnership here. It seems like everybody's putting their pieces on the board, and they've been putting their pieces on the board for quite some time now. You know, NATO has been just basically putting missile sheets, the THAAD system here and the THAAD system there, despite how many warnings. It really doesn't seem to affect any of us as or even around the world, as everyone's playing Pokemon Go. It's like Pokemon Go apocalypse, where you have thousands of people chasing after trying to get Charmander or whoever else. Talking about people being brainwashed and focused on the wrong thing when the world is falling apart. The Ukraine and Russia, they've been on the brink of war for a while. But right now it is like, it's really not a good thing. Because guess what just happened? Just recently. I mean, we're talking within like the last 24 hours. The sirens wailed and Russia said, get ready. So the entire military, all of Russia right now, is on military standby. Not just ready to go. They got their gear on and they're ready for war. That's not normal. And it wasn't something that was like set in stone and planned out on a calendar. They didn't sit around and say, we will do drills down in the future. No, it's happened just out of the blue. And and Israel is bombing the Gaza Strip. Not to mention the Gaza Strip, the State Department is telling people to get out of there. There's a lot of warnings going on, people, all around the world. A lot of warnings. Governments are telling their, ambassadors to get out of certain countries, and the State Department just leveled a huge threat against the citizens that travel in Iran. They're saying, look, that Iranians are looking to kidnap Americans, so you better be careful when you're traveling there. And of course, even though it wasn't supposed to happen and we were warned not to enter Syria, U.S., crazy that they haven't even mentioned this on the news media, the U.S. has officially invaded Syria. Soon to join them is Turkey. They're moving in too. But the U.S. has officially invaded Syria. That means that we are now officially at war with Syria. And we know that Russia is allied with Bashar al-Assad, which means basically, we're talking, right, the whole world is just teetering on the edge of World War III like we've never seen before. And it's not just us. Philippines, well, they're ready for war too. They basically said, hey, China, guess what? You're in trouble. China has threatened India. That's right. Everybody's threatening each other because India just put like some missile shield where they didn't want it to go. So China said, you better not. And India said, we don't really care. We're doing it anyway. Oh, gosh. I don't know, people. I don't know. Just the amount of human suffering that is the toll. If you've seen the pictures, Damascus, Aleppo. If you've seen what's going on in Syria, not just there, but in Africa and all around the world, it's horrible. A majority of the people that are affected by these wars that are being fought by these powerful people that don't ask for our approval, it's staggering. Hospitals, schools are being bombed, and children are being murdered in the name of what? Oil, power, greed. NATO has stood up to Putin and told Putin, you know what? Hey, we're done with your nonsense. We're done with your jibber jabbering. We're done with your sword rattling. You want to bring it on. NATO just did that. That's great. And so all of our allies are now on high alert. This is it's really troubling to me. I do these videos and I try to always give some kind of a positive spin. I try to keep people. I think that it's important not to allow fear to rule you because fear will make you do really stupid things. And I really want us all to find some kind of sober thought in this. But it's really hard not to be a little scared for your family and for your friends and for people all around the world when you have these madmen that are in control doing things that that we really have no power in stopping. There's nothing we can do short of everyone coming together and rising up, and violence does never end violence. The only thing that can overcome violence is love, and it doesn't seem like the people that are in charge really care about that. You have to ask yourself, why is all of this happening? Why does it seem like You know, the Pope said that the world is at war. The Pope said that because, you know, he's, of course, an authority. Another one that's out to control everybody. Another one, another puppet. But the world is at war. And it has been at war because of that small little percent of people that are hiding behind the scenes, pulling all the strings. They're the ones that are saying it. This plan has been put in place for a reason. And I wonder if some of the things that I talk about on this channel have anything to do with that. I wonder, considering that, you know, last week when I shared that video, I made it very clear that the Department of Defense, you know, they put out a paper. You know, there was a very, very in-depth paper that was written about the abrupt climate changes that were going to take place, and that we were going to see wars, and we were going to see horrible things like the earthquake that we just saw in Italy. I mean, Italy, yes, they've had earthquakes, but I mean, not of that magnitude. That is very unheard of. But not unheard of if something is heading our way, which is just, it's extraordinary to me that people watch some of the videos that I post on Nibiru, and that they say that how wrong I am and how wrong the people are that believe that there's something possibly coming when all of the evidence points to it. I mean, right now, you've probably heard on record globally, the world is hotter than it's ever been, ever in the history of the world being recorded for heat. Why is that? Why is that? Yeah, oh, and in the video last week where I said that there was another planet right there by Proxima Centauri, and I said that it could inhabit life, and a lot of people said, oh, that's all baloney and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? They just came out and they announced it. So if there was a planet like Nibiru that had life, well, guess what? It's out there, and it's near us. And when I said that they were our neighbors, and people said, oh, not really, well, guess what? I'm not the only one that said that. We're talking close, not too far away. If we can send probes up there, which is what we've sent, don't let these other missions that they're sending out into this one area fool you. There's a reason they're sending it out there. There's something they're studying. There's a reason there are underground bunkers. There's a reason World War III is about to happen. It's all about control and gaining all the resources you can before it is just too late. They know something is coming, and everybody's working together to try to figure out how can we turn this into a win, right? How can we make money off it? I, for one, I'm excited because I believe that there's a possibility for a positive change. That there's always, even in the midst of terror, and even in the midst of suffering, there's always a chance for growth. If not for the suffering of the oyster, where would be the pearl? Flooding. We've seen flooding all over the world, and in Louisiana, it's been devastating. It is the worst natural disaster since Hurricane Sandy, and then some. And they're not the only ones flooding. They've everywhere, China, Myanmar. I mean, it's horrible. And drought is another one. I mean, drought everywhere, not just overseas, but right here in the States. The wildfires are going crazy, right? Everywhere, and they can't keep it under control. And do you know something? That when there's droughts and there's also flooding, they're connected. The more drought, the more flooding, the more flooding, the more drought. And guess what? It just means it's going to get worse. And why is it getting worse? Because of all of this climatic change. So people, you can come on here and say, I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. You can do whatever you want. Bottom line is, the world is a mess right now. It is doing things that it's never done in our lifetime before. And we are about to witness something. We are about to witness something that is going to change everything. And you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared for it. And I'm not just talking about having, that storage of 2 weeks of food and water. That's a good thing. I'm talking about prepared emotionally and spiritually. I'm talking get your house in order. I'm talking get together. If you're having issues with your wife or your husband, fix it. Figure it out. Love each other. If you haven't told your kids that you love them, it's time to tell them you love them and hold them close. It's time to let go. Forgiveness is liberating. It's time to forgive. Love draws a multitude to change. And if enough of us love, and enough of us put out that, for lack of a better word, people don't like when I say prayer, vibration. The thoughts that can change the world are rooted in our heart. It is our heart. It is love that will change things. And it's time that we all do it, because we have to wake up. We have to. When governments around the world are saying stockpile food, it's time to wake up. It's time, because I'm tired of seeing the suffering that I'm seeing. I'm tired of seeing the heartache. I'm tired of seeing massive corporations squeezing everybody for every penny, so everybody has to work harder and never get ahead. I'm tired of the rat race, and I'm tired of seeing everybody attacking and tearing down everybody. I can't even post a video without having some people telling me that I should go kill myself. What has this world come to that people can actually say this to another person? A person that they don't even know. And if it's someone that they don't know, and you can threaten someone like that, and you can tear down someone like that, how does that better you as a person? The wise man knows it is always better to build than to tear down. And right now, those people that are in power, they're trying to tear everything down. That's why there are millions of refugees that are displaced, and that is why I can't tell you how many terrorist organizations are funded by governments to destabilize things. I want us all to just seek more than what's on the TV. Seek more than what's being fed to us day in and day out by the media that's run by the people that don't care about any of us. Seek, because the truth